All right, everyone. It is time for our penultimate run. It is time for Assassin's Creed Syndicate with Pcol. And we did get that category upgrade thanks to that big donation. Again, thank you, Millie T. Fox, for that. Pcol, why don't you tell us a little bit about this category that we're going to be seeing today?
Yeah, hi. It's me. I'm running some Assassin's Creed. Um, so for people who know me, I feel like most people know me more for Xenoblade, but I also play a lot of Assassin's Creed. I've been playing Assassin's Creed for like probably 13 years at least. And I've kind of wanted to speedrun it for a few years, but a lot of the speedruns are like 6 hours long and uh, not really all that interesting, and I just really didn't want to do that. So what I decided to do was make up my own category for this, which is going to be Evie solo missions, which is just the missions where we play as Evie. This game has two protagonists, Jacob and Evie. We're only going to be playing as Evie. We will see Jacob for a little bit in some like cutscenes I can't skip, but for the most part, we're not going to be worrying about Jacob. Um, uh, and we're going to be just doing Evie's missions because she has a lot less missions than Jacob does. So once I hit replay memory here, then we can start the timer. So let's go 3, 2, 1. And I did see we're also doing 100%, so I will be doing the extra full sync objectives in each mission. Um, if you don't know Assassin's Creed, basically what that means is that every mission has a few objectives that you can optionally complete in each mission for just like in-game percentage completion stuff. But in the lore, they also what that means in the lore is that you are fully synchronizing with the ancestor that you're controlling. Because if you don't know Assassin's Creed lore, um, the games are basically using a machine called the Animus to relive the memories of your ancestors. Um, so you're not exactly going back in time, but you're like reliving the lives of people that lived in these other different time periods. Um, the older games, it was like direct descendants of or like your own ancestors. But in games like Syndicate here, we're just like going through donated DNA that was just like found through uh, wherever it was found. Um, and I also can't skip this. Syndicate is the farthest in time Assassin's Creed has ever gone. This is 1868 Victorian era London. Technically, we're not in London yet for this mission, but London is like the main big city of this game. Um, and then after this game, they went like full open world RPG and like made everything like a bloaty, grindy type of RPG game where you have like stats and like magic weapons and all that stuff. Which doesn't fit with Assassin's Creed in my opinion personally, but it's what they've gone to nowadays, and uh, they went back like even further back in time to like ancient Egypt and all that stuff, um, and they've never gone any farther in time than this. But Syndicate is the farthest in time they've ever gone. We've never had any farther than 1868. Technically, we did have 1888 with the Jack the Ripper DLC for this game, but I don't run that DLC because of the content in that game in that DLC because of Jack the Ripper. We all know what Jack the Ripper did. I don't need to say any more than that. Um, that is a short run, so I have considered running it, but just because of the content in that, I just don't want to. Um, but we don't have any forcing objectives yet. We don't have to worry about any of these guys on this train. We can just run straight through here. They can't catch up to us. We don't really care. Go above this train here. Um, and you can see that there are trains in this game. You can't personally drive any trains, but you do get like a hideout as you get like a train hideout that has like a bunch of stuff and missions for it. But you can't like drive the train wherever you want. It just goes around the map in a circle.
Unfortunate.
I have played this game a lot, not as much as like the older games like AC2 or Brotherhood or whatever, but I've played Assassin's Creed for like 13 years, so a lot of this is honestly just like muscle memory for me at this point. I've played Assassin's Creed so much that a lot of the older games I can just literally turn off all the audio. I can mute my TV, and then put on like music or a podcast or something and like not even lose like any gameplay ability or whatever, just because I've played them so much to the point where it's just ingrained in my brain. So I've probably played this series like way too much for one person. I've also 100% every single game in the series, at least up to Odyssey. I have not done it for Valhalla because I couldn't be bothered with Valhalla, but also I've not done it for Mirage because I've not played Mirage yet, and I have not done it for Shadows because I also have not played Shadows. I can't play Shadows even if I wanted to anyway because I still don't own a PS5 and my PC is not powerful enough to run it. So even if I wanted to play Shadows right now, I just like actively can't. But Mirage, I might play at some point. But here we actually do get our first fucking objective. We have to kill 5 enemies with hanging barrels, so I'm gonna wait for this guy to go under there. That's 2 kills. We still need 3 more, which I will get in a bit. I'm gonna climb up this building. Parkour is a little bit more simplified in this game because of the fact that it's like pretty close to modern day. A lot of the areas are like big, tall buildings and like really wide streets. So instead, what they give you is a rope launcher. We don't really have the rope launcher yet. It won't let me use it when I replay this mission because at this point in time, you technically have not obtained it yet. But you do get a rope launcher that basically just makes this game turn you into Spider-Man, basically, where you can just zip up to the top of buildings. Just to compensate for all the tall buildings and wide streets that we're going to be seeing. There, we don't need to worry about that guy I rescued. He is only involved in side content stuff for later in the game that you don't really need to ever do because it doesn't matter. What he gives you from that side content is like not really that good. There's not really any point to mess with that guy. But now we get to go into this building here and get a key. You might see me doing this thing that makes enemies glow through walls. That is a thing called Eagle Vision. That is tied to a lot of Assassin's Creed lore, and is basically like a special vision mode thing that like shows you the intentions of people around you. The way that ties into Assassin's Creed lore is the fact that very early on in the lifetime of the universe at Assassin's Creed, I guess, there was an ancient race called the First Civilization, or the Isu. Syndicate was actually the first game to coin the word Isu for them. Basically, they're just an ancient, super advanced, like technological race that all died out due to a solar flare, and they left special artifacts behind called pieces of Eden, and people who have Isu DNA are able to use pieces of Eden and have no negative effects. And Eagle Vision is something tied to hybrids, which are basically Isu and humans that like interbreeded together and unlocked like special powers, and not exactly like super magic powers, stuff like that. It's all based in like technology stuff, but that's basically what Eagle Vision is in a nutshell. There's a lot more to it than that, but I don't really have time to go like super in depth with Assassin's Creed lore. But there we also just got the rest of our barrel kills. This guy is not usually standing over here, so I'm just gonna kill him real quick. All these enemies are level 1, so they die pretty instantly. Syndicate was the first game to like start really introducing like RPG leveling mechanic stuff, where it like really punishes you for being underleveled. So if enemies are like around the same level as you, they take a few more hits, but because of the way that the leveling system and the combat works in this game, if you're above higher level than enemies, you're basically super extremely overpowered, so it doesn't really matter. And you can only go up to level 10 in this game, except for the Jack the Ripper DLC, where they let you go up to level 11. But because that is only in the Jack the Ripper DLC, we do not go up to level 11 here. And then we're going to go down this elevator.
Just would not be a stealth game without elevators, would it?
Yeah. If I was playing on a new game file, this would be the first instance of the game tutorializing the skill tree, and it would want me to get the double assassinate skill there, but because I am playing on my old 100% new game plus file, whatever. I have all of this stuff already, so it doesn't really matter, and I could just run past all these guys. And then we're actually going to be killing our first target already, which is Sir David Brewster. If you don't know Assassin's Creed, basically there's these two groups called the Assassins and the Templars. Assassins basically want like free will for humanity, and like basically want people to like think what they want and do what they want and all that stuff. Templars want like total control and order. So just kind of like a philosophical war between like chaos and order and all that type of stuff. We obviously do play as assassins in Assassin's Creed for the most part, unless you look at the newer games nowadays where assassins don't exist anymore because they went too far back in time to before they were a thing that existed, which is a whole other issue. But here to kill David Brewster here, we have to air assassinate him for our full sec there, and that is the other full sync for this mission here. Most missions have like 2 full sync objectives. Some have like 1. There is one we're going to be doing later, what is 0, but that is an Evie mission, so I will still be doing it.
I will continue your experiment.
You will not stop, Static.
This confession cutscene we can't skip for some reason, but the rest of the ones in the game we can, so we just have to be forced to watch this one.
We fight to gain what we cannot take with us.
There's also going to be like pretty bright flashing lights after this cutscene ends here, because this machine that is next to us, that is, he was testing on a piece of Eden, and it's going to start exploding, so there's going to be some pretty bright lights in a second here. So that piece of Eden is going to explode. And then you can see how bright these lights are when they flash and explode in my face. I'm typically not really all that susceptible to flashing lights, but even these ones kind of affect me a little bit, so just trying to warn about that. But we basically just have to escape from this underground lab here, and that is basically going to be it for this first mission here.
This is a good moment to remind everyone what we're doing here.
Yep.
Alright, so this is Power Up with Pride 2025. This is our final run, and we are still here raising money for True Colors United. They implement innovative solutions to youth homelessness that focus on the unique experiences of LGBTQ plus young people. LGBTQ plus youth are 120% more likely to face homelessness than their peers, while Black youth are 83% and Latino youth are 33% more likely. True Colors United is guided by 2 core beliefs. Those who've experienced an issue firsthand hold the keys to the solution, and improving outcomes for the most impacted communities benefits everyone. If you'd like to learn more about them, ! Charity can donate with ! Donate. And of course, you can look at the schedule if you really want to see what you missed and planned on the VODs for later with ! Schedule.
And while Evie was crawling under that bit there, you might have saw that she went invisible for a little bit. That is because of a skill that I have on Evie. Jacob and Evie have the same skills for the most part, but each of them have like 3 unique skills to them, and one of Evie's unique skills makes her turn invisible when she stands still, which is really not all that useful, honestly, but once you get it, you can't unget it, so I just have it forever now, and it's just the thing that she does.
Wait, was that whole mission a cold open?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's why they call it that.
So there is your title screen. And here is Assassin's Creed Modern Day. We don't talk about Assassin's Creed Modern Day because the series itself doesn't talk about it anymore. Modern Day does not exist in Assassin's Creed anymore, so we don't talk about it. Modern Day has not existed since like AC3 when they killed off Desmond. Which is not a spoiler because that game is like over 10 years old at this point. I don't consider that a spoiler. Everyone should know that Desmond is dead.
I'm kind of the opinion that if you want to play modern day Assassin's Creed, Hitman is right there.
Yeah, a modern Assassin's Creed. If you can't tell by my voice, I am more of a fan of classic Assassin's Creed games like AC2 and Brotherhood and all that stuff. But I still have played a little bit of the RPG newer ones. I've played Origins a few times. I've played Odyssey once. I've played Valhalla a little bit. Can I punch the Pope in Hitman? Maybe. Is this Odyssey slander? Yes. Odyssey is a game that I will not talk about because I hate it. Odyssey is a game of all time. But I will say that the Odyssey speedrun is pretty interesting. The only problem with the Odyssey speedrun is that it is extremely PC oriented because there's one glitch in it that relies on like really extremely high frame rate. And if you do that on console, it's just not really as good. I think the glitch is still possible to do on console, but it's not as helpful. But if you are interested in the Odyssey speedrun, you can look that up. But just note that the Assassin's Creed speedrunning community is not really all that great. It's very small. There's like barely any people that are like actually active. It is controlled by one guy who is extremely like toxic and controlling and doesn't want anyone but himself to be the one who's allowed to win. So we don't talk about him.
You really hate to see it.
Yeah. This is another reason why I made this category for myself, because like I just don't want to have to deal with that guy. And this run is also shorter and not like 6 hours long. So there's my two reasons for making this run. I don't want to deal with a horrible person, and I want a shorter run. There you go.
Alright, well, when you said you were going to give us Assassin's Creed lore, I wasn't expecting community lore too, so
Yeah.
shout outs to that.
Also, here's Alexander Graham Bell. He is in this game. He exists. He doesn't really do much. He gives you the rope launcher, so we actually get to use the rope launcher now. Also, drivable carriages. We will be doing more carriage driving soon. But this mission is mainly introducing us to the rope launcher right now. There is the force tutorial for it. This is why I say this game is like Victorian era Spider-Man, because of this. Just zoom up to the top of Big Ben right here.
Oh, that's sick. I love this.
So the way the rope launcher works is that you can't manually aim it. You have to just kind of deal with wherever the prompt for it goes to on buildings. Whenever you aim your camera, you really only aim it by moving your camera around. There's no like specific points or anything. There's no way to like aim it like at more specific points. Like here, I'm trying to aim it like specifically on this flat part here, and it's being very mean to me. So the rope launcher is a little bit finicky with the way that it aims, but for the most part, it's like the best way to get around the world because it's fast and you go zoomy. We also have a full sync here for not going below 30 meters in altitude, which is pretty simple if you just follow this path with the rope launcher here. For the most part, these full sync objectives are just basically play the mission pretty normally and you just kind of end up getting it. Some of them I do kind of have to go out of my way for, especially for the later missions. But because we did hit that incentive, I will actually be going out of my way to do the ones that actually require me to go out of my way to do them.
That is typically how 100% works, yes.
Yep.
And thank you all again for donating towards that.
So we have one more fuse up here to kind of fix. I wanted to go a little bit more to the left there, but this is fine. Rope launcher is rope launcher. And then we're going to install this last fuse here. Because of the time period of this game, there is like a little bit of like electricity stuff that you can use. There is a whole section in this game where there's like a few missions that teleport you or like transport you to World War I era London, and there's like a few like things you can mess with like electrical generators to like alert enemies to stealthily kill them easier. World War I section also does technically have its own speedrun, which is only like a 14-minute long speedrun, but because of this game only having like one save pile per like console user or whatever, it's like extremely hard to like reset the save file for it. So I just have not bothered learning that run. But there is an official category on the leaderboard on SRC for the World War I section. If people are interested in looking that up. And then we get into driving carriages, which you just run over whoever you want. And just spam boost to go as fast as possible. And then Alexander Graham Bell is here. For some reason, his hand is broken. I don't know why his hand is broken. I don't know if that ever gets explained. He just has a broken hand in this game for no reason.
Sometimes your hand is broken. Like, why does it have to be that difficult?
I just don't understand why they made him have a broken hand. Like, what is the point? It doesn't add anything. But we're gonna go across this bridge here. Whenever you go across a bridge like that, it tries to like force you in the center, but I like being on the side so I don't have to deal with traffic. But because this game is London and the UK, they also force you to like gravitate towards driving on the left side of the road, but I'm a sweaty American, so I want to drive on the right side of the road. So I don't care about driving on the left side of the road. I did not want to get into combat here because combat is slow, but I guess we'll show it a little bit. So whenever you see people have a yellow flash, that means you can counter them. If they have like a white bar, you can break their defense. This game operates like kind of like on Batman Arkham type of combat. And because of the time period, you have to have like hidden weapons like chain swords and all that stuff, rather than just like carrying a massive sword around on your hip like in the older games. Because of weapon laws.
Yeah, social norms have changed.
Yeah. Here we have to air assassinate a guard from a zipline, so I just air assassinate that person. And throw a smoke bomb down here. And then I'm gonna do another one, even though it doesn't matter because it only wanted me to do one of the zipline air assassinations, but I do a second one just to get down faster. Kill those guys. Open that chest. And then it's just going to force me into the crafting tutorial, but I don't care because I've already crafted everything, so I'm just going to quit back out. And then we're going to go talk to Alexander Graham Bell again, and then it's going to end this mission here. There he is, and then there he goes. And then we get into the next mission. I think this next mission is the one mission where there's actually not any full sync objectives at all, but this will also be the mission that is going to go require a trigger warning for animal harm because I will have to be shooting some horses. Which you'll see why I shoot the horses. There's going to be people chasing me, and I have to shoot the horses to get rid of them, but I will be having to shoot horses. So if you don't like shooting horses, then look away, I guess. There's no visible gore or like blood or anything. They just do like funny ragdoll physics, but I will have to be shooting horses. And then this one is sequence 4. Let's go.
Well, before we get into that, we do have a $25 donation from Anonymous. Quick message there says, happy to support such a great cause. Happy Pride, and trans rights are human rights. So true, Anonymous. I agree 100%. And just as a reminder to everyone, all of the donations we're raising are going to True Colors United. You can learn more about them at exclamation point charity. Also, welcome in Raiders. This Power Up with Pride 2025, exclamation point charity. Find out about what we've been doing this weekend. Exclamation point schedule. Take a look at what you want to watch on the VODs.
These load times are also kind of long just because of the fact that I am playing on console. If you do go to the SRC leaderboards for Assassin's Creed, you will see that most of the runs are on PC. Just because of the fact that PC loads faster. But also, for some reason, we have rules that allow for deleting cutscene files and doing Alt F4 to skip unskippable cutscenes. Which I personally don't agree with those rules, but those are the rules that we have for some reason. And I'm not allowed to do either of those because I play on console, so I just actively can't. I am literally the only person in the community, community in quotes, if you can even call it that. Literally the only person who actually like runs or plays these games on console. Just because I have preferred console my entire life. I've always been a console gamer. I don't really play a lot of stuff on PC in general. I have played some Assassin's Creed games on PC, but like not for speedrunning purposes, just for playing them. But I just still always prefer to play on console just because of personal preference. But we also don't have any console leaderboard, PC console leaderboard splits on SRC. So my runs are basically always at a disadvantage. But because I'm the only person who runs this category, because I made it up, I technically do have world record in this category. So checkmate.
Yeah, I guess you are the real winner in that case.
This guy might see me. This guy saw me. Throwing knife you. Throwing knife you. Throwing knife you. That guy is fine.
Everybody has been throwing knifed so far. You'll love to see it.
I normally don't get seen there, but I guess that police officer wanted to find my face or whatever. I don't know what he was doing there. And then I have to change my gun because for whatever reason, this game likes to change my gun to the weakest gun, so I have to change back to the most powerful gun. And I don't know why it does that. It's always done that for me for like the entire time I've ever owned this copy of the game. But it changed my gun for no reason. Also, this is Animal Harm. This is shooting horses. You get to see the ragdoll physics. Let's shoot that horse. The carriage goes flying. Yippee.
The ragdoll physics are amusing.
Yeah, but this is basically just an auto-scroller. There is no full-sync objective to this mission. But because it is a mission where we play as Evie, I include it in the run anyway. But also auto-scrollers are pretty good for donation stuff.
Yeah, this is a great time to remind everyone what we're doing here. So yeah, again, for those raiders that just came in, this is Power Up with Pride 2025. We ran all weekend long, about 16 hours each day, benefiting our friends over at True Colors United. If you didn't see it already, the panels down below the stream, you can learn more about them by clicking on those. Exclamation point donate in chat to get a link to donate. If you want to look at the schedule to see what you missed, that's linked down there as well. There's a lot of great runs that happened all weekend. They're going to be here in the VOD archive here on Twitch for a little bit, and we're going to be having them exported to our YouTube channel in the next few weeks as well. I believe exclamation point YouTube will bring up the link to that. If you go to exclamation point social, you can find all the different places that you can follow Power Up with Pride and keep on top of what we're doing for various LGBTQ plus causes throughout the year. I don't think we have our dates nailed down for the next Fireside Pride event for the winter season, but we should have news about that in the near future, so make sure to follow socials so that you can plan around that if you plan on submitting and participating, whether you want to volunteer or whether you just want to try to take a long weekend off of work to watch some good old video games. We will have more information about that in the next couple of months. And it looks like we have wrapped up this mission.
Yep. This cutscene I can't skip, so we actually get to see Jacob for a little bit. There he is.
I love his jacket.
That's actually not the original color for his jacket. His jacket's supposed to be black, but I like blue because it's my favorite color, so I dyed it blue.
I love it. I want it for my Final Fantasy XIV character. Don't tell Yoshi P that I'm mod.
Jacob is a character of all time. A lot of Evie's missions are basically just fixing Jacob's mistakes because Jacob is a character who just kind of does what he wants and doesn't really care about his consequences. So he ends up like dismantling like the entire society of London. So Evie has to fix it. Jacob gets most of the assassination targets in this game because of reasons that I won't go into. But Evie does get at least one assassination target, but because of the fact that Jacob gets most of them, most of Evie's missions are just Jacob does something wrong, breaks society, and Evie has to fix it. So we are going to this one. This is probably going to be the first mission where I like actually have to do something like on purpose to do full sync, instead of just playing the game normally. Unless you count having people die with barrels in the first mission.
I count that.
Okay, so this is the second one then.
I'm glad my input matters.
This one we have to investigate or like interact with like 7 different like objects in a mansion. And this mansion that we're going to is actually the Kenway mansion, which is Kenway is pretty significant because it is refers to Edward Kenway, which is the protagonist of AC4, which was 2 games before Syndicate. There was AC4 and then Unity, and then I guess also Rogue if you want to talk about Rogue, and then Syndicate. AC4 was the pirate game. There it is, it's the pirate game. Edward Kenway was the protagonist of this game. Also, this cutscene freezes on me there for some reason. So we just get to see that guy look at a book for a few seconds. But we're going to the home of Edward Kenway. He has a lot of like references and memorabilia from AC4. Because AC4 has a lot of references in this game for some reason. They weren't even made by like the same team at Ubisoft. AC4 was made by Ubisoft Montreal, which is like the main Assassin's Creed team. But Syndicate was made by Ubisoft Quebec, because they kind of wanted to split their teams so they could make more Assassin's Creed games and like not burn people out, I guess. So now they have like Montreal is like the main team, and then Quebec for like secondary main team, and then like a few other teams that do some other stuff. But Quebec was Syndicate was Quebec's first Assassin's Creed game, where they were like the main spearhead developers for it instead of Montreal. So I don't know why they decided to reference AC4 so much when Montreal was the one who made AC4. But there's going to be a lot of AC4 stuff in this mission. So if you like AC4, then there's going to be a lot of stuff for you.
You know, speaking of liking AC4, there was a little bit of chat debate earlier about some of the Assassin's Creed games. So that could be like a nice little donation thing. Why don't you throw a little donation in there, chat? Let me know about your favorite Assassin's Creed game, and I'll tell everyone all about it for you.
I am included in like the 99% of group that is Ezio fanboy. I am one of the people that basically only plays the Ezio games because they are the best ones objectively.
I liked the first one a lot. I liked Altair.
Yeah, AC1 was good, but a big problem that you'll see a lot with AC1 is that it's extremely repetitive. Which I don't think is as repetitive as people say it is, but it is a lot of just doing the same stuff over and over again.
It is very experimental. They were trying to figure out what they wanted to do with this franchise.
For those who don't know, the story of why Assassin's Creed got made is because originally they were going to make it a Prince of Persia game called Prince of Persia Assassins, and then that game kind of got canceled or like shut down, and because it was not a Prince of Persia game where you played as the prince, it was a Prince of Persia game where you were playing as a bodyguard that was an assassin. So they just decided to make the assassin the actual character. And then it ended up becoming Assassin's Creed. So there's your Assassin's Creed lore. Also, this is lore. This cube thing is a blood vial from AC4, which was used a lot in AC4 to store people's blood for the main story thing in that game called the Observatory, which was like an East location, which was it could be used to basically see through people's eyes and like see where like basically see through their eyes and like watch wherever they were going and whatever they were doing and hearing what they were saying and all that stuff and like basically like spying on people, which is like what the Templars wanted to use in AC4 to like control the populace. And the way the observatory works is by storing people's blood in those vials. This is the map from AC4 that at the very beginning of the game, Edward sells to the Templars for money, and it ends up putting like targets on the backs of like various assassins that you can then go help and unlock like special side mission stuff. Those swords are there. I don't think they're actually like specific swords from AC4, but they are swords because you had dual swords in this game, and then that's a ship thing. That's all the Kenway stuff. And we're going to go in here. And then first of all, I think we have to play the piano without making a single false note. I know what the notes are. There we go. The way you figure out what that note, pattern is if you use Eagle Vision, it shows up on the wall here. So you can just do that. But I've played this for like 10 years, so I know what the pattern is.
I didn't know this was a rhythm game.
That's like the most rhythm you get.
Amazing. Rhythm block was not over until now.
Also, the song that you play on that piano, that is a song from AC4, that is a shanty you can have your crew sing on your ship called Lowlands Away. If you know anything about AC4, you can have like various sea shanties that your crew on your ship can sing, and that is one of them. That is one of the more fan favorite shanties that comes from that game. So I guess they decided to have that one play on the piano for you.
That's such a cute little detail.
If you can actually also find NPCs in this game singing that song too. I don't know if there's like specific locations for them. I think they're like around the harbor area for the most part, but there's like NPCs in this game that if you listen to them, they actually also sing that same sea shanty. Because for some reason, Syndicate loves AC4 references, even though they don't really have anything to do with each other. And then we're going to do another mission that is going to have a historical character. This is going to have a mission with Florence Nightingale in it, but we're not going to see her because she's only in the cutscenes. I'm going to skip the cutscenes, but she does exist in this game. She also does nothing. But because this is Assassin's Creed, you also got to shoehorn in historical characters.
We love to shoehorn historical characters into our speed games.
Yeah. Also, with historical characters, Shadows, the most recent game, is the first game in the series, like out of every game in the series, including like side stuff, where one of your main playable characters is actually like a historical character. So it's the first time in the series with Shadows where you can actually play as a historical character instead of someone just completely fictional. And for the most part, for most of Assassin's Creed, for like a lot of the games, most of your targets are historical characters that you kill. You kill them like in the same like time period in like the same place that they actually died in real life. So like kind of match up with history. But Syndicate was the first game in the series to make all of your assassination targets completely fictional. Which I think the reason for that was they didn't want to risk upsetting any like potential living descendants by having you kill their ancestors. So they just decided to make all your assassination targets completely fictional characters in this game. So if you go back to David Brewster from the very first mission we did, if you look him up, you'll just find him on the Assassin's Creed wiki. You won't find like a historical page about him or anything because he's not real. This mission we have a timer because there's a sick child. Child's gonna be fine, don't worry. But this mission wants us to get some medicine for the sick child, and honestly, this mission gives you way more time than you really ever need. I don't need like 7 minutes to do this mission. Here we have to steal some stuff from this guy and make sure that we don't kill him to full sync. So just steal from him. If you just stand behind him and steal him, you can just do that pretty quickly. But if you scare him with like a smoke bomb or anything, then it won't let you steal from him. So you actually just have to like sneak behind him, because if you smoke bomb him or anything, it'll turn off his like ability to be stolen from. So if you just sneak through that fence, you can just get that pretty easily. The game also says if you do kill him, the game will say that this ancestor did not kill civilians, which is a classic thing that Assassin's Creed does, where it doesn't want you to kill civilians because that's not what your character did. And if you kill 3 civilians in the classic games, it will actually like kill you and game over you. And it will punish you for killing civilians because that's not what you're meant to do as an assassin who like protects humanity. But if you kill that peddler there that I stole from, the game will get mad at you for it, even though it actively lets you kill him. And I don't know why it gets mad at you, even though it gives you the choice to kill him, but it does.
They're already loaded on the cart. Please take them.
Also can't skip this, but it's a pretty short cutscene anyway.
Yes.
We have to chase down this cart that has all the medicines in it. And there's going to be 2 carts here. I'm actually going to take the one in the front because it has a larger roof, specifically so I can stand on the roof. I could have also stood on the roof of that other one, but this one has a larger roof just for safety reasons. I think the other carriage I could have taken is actually technically a little bit faster, but I can still easily catch up to this carriage here. Stand on the roof here, jump to this carriage, kill this guy, and then take this carriage here, and then go in a circle here, turn around. And I have almost 4.5 minutes left, and I'm like pretty much right at the end. So this mission gives you way more time than you really would ever really need. They probably should have shortened the timer on it. Also, shoutouts to Florence Nightingale's hands. That's all we ever see of her. Just her hands. We love Florence Nightingale's hands.
We sure do.
She is involved in like more side content stuff if you do that. If you do play this game, but for the most part, that's like the only time we ever see her in the main story. And because I skipped the cutscene so fast, all we ever see is her hands. So, shoutouts to Florence Nightingale's hands.
Shoutouts to Florence Nightingale's hands. And shoutouts to our charity partner as well, True Colors United. Remind everyone again what they're doing. They're implementing innovative solutions to youth homelessness that focus on the unique experiences of LGBTQ plus young people. They work with youth homelessness service providers, policymakers, advocates, and other stakeholders in creating systems and policies that better meet the needs of youth experiencing homelessness. Through an ongoing partnership with the HUD's Youth Homelessness Demonstration Project, the YHDP, we've trained local leaders in over 70 communities on LGBTQ+ and racial equity, project management, and youth collaboration. They do a lot of other great work. You can learn more about them at Exclamation Charity. You can donate at Exclamation Donate. And of course, if you want to see any of the marathon runs that you may have missed this weekend, Exclamation Point schedule, you can see what all happened this weekend, and it will be on our Exclamation Point YouTube over the next few weeks, as well as here on Twitch if you can find the video VODs from past streams.
I know there's some runs that I want to see, but I missed them for some reason or another, so I might have to go back and watch those ones.
Yeah, the one that I was really frothing at the mouth for when we went through the games committee meeting was UFO 50. That entire UFO 50 block was right up my alley. And I was at work. So that's one I'm looking forward to catching the VOD for later on.
I did see some of the Paper Mario run today, but I missed the rest of it, so I might have to go back and see the rest of it. Here, we have to get under the ramp here, but there's a lot of policemen around, so I'm actually going to stand up here, smoke bomb these guys. It doesn't look like that guy I ran past will be effective, but he actually does get affected by it. He's like just barely in the range for it. So just run under here. The reason why I smoke bomb there is not just so I can avoid being seen, but also it's technically a restricted area, so I'm not supposed to be in here. So if they see me in here, they're going to start combat with me, and I don't want to start combat. And if I am in combat, I have to like kill everyone or escape. And if I'm still being seen by people, the game will be like, you have to be anonymous to interact with this. And this game really makes you wait like a really long time to fully like be considered anonymous to interact with things.
This looks familiar.
So I don't want to have to deal with not being anonymous and then having to wait to be anonymous again. And then do a risky leap of faith here. Also, leap of faith is a thing that is classic to Assassin's Creed. It also does have lore for it, but also the lore got retconned immediately in the game right after. So the lore doesn't matter anymore. There's no good carriages here, so I'm just gonna take this big one. This is probably not a good one to take, but it's the closest one, so I'm just gonna drive these people to where I need to go, and they're just gonna be stuck with me. Typically, there's better carriages there around, but there was, like, not really any good choices. So I'm just gonna end up kidnapping these guys, I guess. Because they don't want to leave. We are going to St. Paul's Cathedral here. There's going to be a like slight puzzle that I have to solve once I get to the top here. But I have the puzzle solution memorized. Also, good ragdoll. This game is really good for ragdoll physics. If you want a good game of ragdoll physics, play Assassin's Creed Syndicate. It's definitely one of the games of all time.
Got time for 2 quick donations, Pcol?
Yeah, you can do that while I'm solving this puzzle here.
Sure. We got $25 from Anonymous. Shout out Florence Nightingale's hands. And then $5 from Florence Nightingale's hands. Shout out to Pcol. So that came full circle. And again, all those are going to True Colors United charity to learn more about what they're doing.
Also, I see quotes in chat. I see just wade right on in there. For those who don't know, that is a quote from a show called UFO Cowboys. It is one of the funniest shows of all time. It is free on the Roku channel. It's so bad. It's so good. Please watch UFO Cowboys. You will not regret it. Maybe you will, but you won't. I promise. I am doing this puzzle wrong because I'm too busy talking about UFO Cowboys. So I want to line up these things here. Basically, for this puzzle, you just have to line up these symbols on these gears. And then line up these symbols here. I don't know what any of these symbols are like meant to represent. I just call them by their shapes. So I line up the 69, I line up the triangle, I line up the lines, I line up the dots, whatever it is. Florence Nightingale needs to cowboy up. Let's go. There is no Wild West Cowboy Assassin's Creed, but this game does have drivable horse carriages, so I guess that's the closest we get.
Well, that's how it goes sometimes, right?
We are all UFO cowboys in our hearts. Just a way to ride on in there. And then here we're actually gonna get into a boss fight. But also it's not gonna be a boss fight because I'm just gonna immediately cheese it. There's supposed to be special thing that this boss does where like they pull you into like a paired animation when they just hit you and you have to guard all their attacks. Which is also part of the full sync. You have to block all of their attacks for the full sync. And I'm just not going to deal with that because I'm going to cheese the fight. You might see I have my gun equipped, so I'm going to skip this cutscene. It's going to start the fight. And then boom, 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 boom. Fight done. So I have officially countered all of Lucia's strikes, but just by shooting her 4 times. Because I cheesed the entire fight with my extremely powerful gun. If I decided to fight that fight normally, once I got her to about half health, she would pull me into like a paired animation thing and like start hitting on me, and I could not. It would make me be unable to do anything except to block the attacks. But the reason why I want to avoid that is because if I get hit, at any point in time during that fight, it will avoid the full sync objective, and make me have to restart, and I don't want to have to deal with that if I get pulled into that paired animation. But also the paired animation is bad because there was a lot of lag with it. Normally when you counter enemies in this game, there's not really all that much lag at all, but when she does attacks against you in that paired animation, her health bar flashes yellow like long before she actually does the attack. So even if you press the button while her health bar flashes yellow to indicate that she's attacking, it actually won't counter, because there's like a huge delay on her attack and when the game says that she's attacking. So I just don't want to have to deal with being forced into that paired animation. What's larger, Odyssey or Aura's Hat? Probably Odyssey. Aura's Hat is like... I don't know what you guys are talking about when you say his hat gets larger. I've watched that show twice, and his hat stays the same size, but if you say his hat gets larger, then I'll believe you. UFL Cowboys is a show that's free on Roku. It's extremely cursed. It's really funny. It's way funnier than it has any right to be. Just watch it. It's one of the shows of all time. It's free on Roku. You don't even have to have a Roku to watch it. I'm pretty sure you can just go on the Roku website. Here we have to like defend this guy. This is just someone that we don't care about. What's happened in the story at this point is that Jacob has assassinated one of his targets, and his target has dismantled the entire vehicle industry. So now vehicles are not being distributed or made in London, and people are clamoring to be the first one to make a vehicle company, because there's no vehicle industry anymore because of Jacob. So now Evie has to fix Jacob's mistake by fixing the vehicle industry. So we're just defending this guy here from these guys. I should get on top of his actual characters instead of the ones with the enemies on them. Shoot that guy. And I have to turn back all the way around here. And then this is going to lead us to a factory where we have to steal a deed that is going to let this guy build a factory, or like have the rights to build vehicles again because of Jacob dismantling the entire vehicle industry. Because all Jacob ever does is destroy society because he doesn't care about consequences. I promise you that is the only like factor about Jacob's personality in this game. All he does is destroy things. It's not really any more to it than that.
He's just like me for real.
Later on, Jacob is gonna dismantle the entire economy, and Evie has to be the one to fix it. So this is what I mean when I say Jacob destroys things and Evie has to fix his mistakes. This is the actual plot of the game. I am not making this up. I have played this game through like 4 times at least, and it's the same. It's literally just that, and this guy wants to drive over me. He wants to run me over.
Rude.
I don't know why he always does that. So we're gonna go inside of this factory here. We're gonna jump down this way. I've also never actually explained like how parkour works. So this game, instead of having like a puppeteering system like you have in the classic games with like your head, your arms, and your legs, this game just has sprint tied to one button, which started with AC3, and then this game is on the Unity Syndicate system, where you have parkour up and parkour down. When you hold X, well, for me it's X because I'm playing on PlayStation. When you hold X, and you can parkour up, which makes you go jump higher and jump farther and climb buildings faster, and then you have parkour down, which makes you jump less distance and climb down faster. This game actively makes you not even like jump. There is no manual jump button in Assassin's Creed anymore. This game was the first one to make it so that if you just walk to a ledge, you won't go off the ledge. You actually had to like run and like climb down to go off the ledge because there was no jump button. Interesting. We got a crash.
Ruh-roh.
I was going to talk about this later because I typically have the game crash later than I did now. I've never had it crash during that point before, but I have had this game crash. So this is not a first time a crash, but that is a first time for in that specific point. But I was going to talk about crashes later because there's typically a point where it crashes for me later. But because we had the crash now, I don't think it's going to crash later. I think we got the crash out of the way. But we do have to do that mission again once I get back in this game here. But I guess this is time for vamping.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, this is Power with Pride 2025, and this year we're partnered once again with our friends over at True Colors United. In the United States, 4.2 million youth experience homelessness each year, with lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and questioning LGBTQ+ youth 120% more likely to experience homelessness than their non-LGBTQ+ peers. True Colors United is committed to changing that. If we can ensure that services are safe for and affirming of the most impacted young people, we can be confident that they'll be safe and affirming for everyone. We believe that youth homelessness is a community issue. Real change can happen when people come together with a shared vision. They do a lot of wonderful work. You can learn more about them at !charity. If you would like to donate, if you have the means to do so, !donate. If you would like to see the other games that we had showcased throughout the weekend, so you can try to plan what VODs you want to watch once they go up on YouTube, or try to track them down here on Twitch, !schedule. And while we're loading back in, we do have a $10 donation from Aura's Hat. And that one has the comment: Florence Nightingale's hands also get larger every time they appear on screen. I don't think that's true.
Please watch UFO Cowboys. Please.
You have vamped UFO Cowboys so much that I feel like if I watch it and it's not at least as stupid as Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, I'm going to be very upset. That's my plug for the day. Watch Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. That one's also very funny.
I don't know how much I want to spoil UFO Cowboys, but there's a part where a guy like gets knocked. There's a part where a guy he's riding his horse and it just bucks him off and it falls on top of him. There's your one UFO Cowboy spoiler. If you want to see a guy get a horse fall on top of him, watch UFO Cowboys. They have no idea what they're doing. They're clearly just trained actors of horses. They've never touched a horse before.
Somebody did in fact mention Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
New bonus content, let's go. I don't need to do that, I've already done it. Love how it tells me about bonus content every single time. They are real cowboys. No, they're not. They're fake cowboys. They don't know what they're doing. But we're gonna save this guy again because we did not finish this mission because we had a game crash. Let's Evie. Ragdoll, please. Is there anyone else? Is there a third guy coming? There's a third guy coming. And that is the last guy I actually have to kill, but I still have one guy on me. Who is still angry at me? Is anyone still angry at me? I'm gonna drive this way. Who is fighting me? Please, go away.
Well, right now it looks like your capture card might be fighting you a little bit because the stream is not looking so hot all of a sudden.
Is there a problem? Am I dropping frames? I am not dropping frames.
No, it's like artifacting and tearing and doing funny stuff. I think it might be your capture card.
Maybe.
Might be OBS. I don't know. We'll give it a second to see if it sorts itself out, and if not, we'll take a quick tech break and try to sort it out. But it looks like it might be stabilizing a little bit. Question?
I mean, I have the stream up myself. I can see it on on the stream, but my OBS seems to be fine. I don't know if my capture card is fine for the most part when I use it myself, so I don't know if it's my capture card or what.
Might be a bad RTMP connection. When you get to a good stopping point, we can jump over into...
Let me pause right now then.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get that sorted out real quick. Hang tight, everyone. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. All right, gang, it looks like we're sorted out. That was just a quick one, hopefully, so we're going to get right back into it.
I cursed the stream with too much UFO Cowboys. I'm sorry.
Hey, it happens to the best of us.
So we're just gonna go inside this factory again here. I don't need to kill this guy, but I'm just gonna do it just to get down. Now we're gonna climb back up here again. If E would get away from the door. And then we're gonna air assassinate this gunner here. And then instead of alerting everyone like I did last time, instead of just rushing in, I'm gonna actually just... Hello? Knife? There we go. And then I'm gonna knife... Okay, well, everyone detected me anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, that one guy seems pretty unbothered by you.
Yep. This guy, he runs this direction every single time. So as long as you enter from that direction, he will always just run straight into you. That is 100% consistent. He always runs through that doorway, so just stand in that doorway. And I'm gonna do what I did before, and hopefully the game doesn't crash again. So what I did here was I actually called my gang, because the big gimmick of this game is that you have a gang of people that can fight for you, and everyone is stuck here. So I'm just gonna take this car and drive away. So the big gimmick of this game is having a gang. It doesn't matter. You really never even need to use them. I just call the gang vehicle here because there's no close by vehicles. So I just call the vehicle just to have a vehicle to go faster. But for the most part, if you play this game yourself, you really never even need to use the game mechanic at all. And we avoided a crash this time again, so we can
Hooray!
move on from that. Hopefully the game doesn't crash again, but because we got the crash out of the way, it hopefully won't.
Fingers crossed.
I typically have this game crash every once in a while, but I don't think I've ever had it crash in that specific point that it did before. Yeah, don't hurt the innocent. Don't hurt the innocent. Apparently trampling of horse doesn't count as hurt. Because this game is a game of all time. It's Victorian era Spider-Man GTA.
Yes,
that's the best way to describe it.
Tech team at best team. Shoutouts to the tech team. Shoutouts to all the other hosts. Shoutouts to the mods and the pre-flight folks. Everyone who works behind the scenes. The team, the staff. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. And this is actually a great marathon to get your feet wet on if you're interested in getting involved in speedrun marathon volunteering for charity. So definitely make sure you get into the Discord, !socials, and you can find out more about opportunities to join us in volunteering in the future if you're interested.
I ran before a few years ago. I ran a game called QT, which I think also some other people might know me for. I'm also a team here now. I've been team, I think, since like last year or the year before. Helped make some game choices for them. I actually helped make the schedule for this event. This is my first time making like the schedule for this one. And we decided to put me on finale. And I've also never been a finale run before, so this is my first ever time being a finale run for the event. Yippee! And I'm using that time to talk about UFO Cowboys, so I've truly made it in my life.
Well, you only get one finale shot. You have to talk about UFO Cowboys when you're there.
Better stick to the shadows.
I was gonna say, speaking of UFO Cowboys, but this mission doesn't really have anything to do with UFO Cowboys. So this mission is Evie's one assassination if you don't count the very first mission. This is the one main assassination that she gets. This mission was also shown off as like one of the early like gameplay video demos that they showed before the game released for like pre-release marketing stuff. So I've actually seen this mission like a lot because I used to watch that like video like religiously. But Evie gets finally an assassination mission. We actually get to kill a target. This is the same person that we had to fight in the cathedral earlier that has the dumb mechanic where they pull you in for a paired animation. So we actually get to kill her this time. I want to get all the way up there. And the full sync for this is to kill fewer than 5 royal guards. So there's the counter that are up there in the top left. That's the 0 out of 5. As long as that counter is a number that is 4 or less, I will succeed that full sync. But it is possible to do with 0. So I'm gonna do this with 0 royal guards killed. If they would like to get out of my way. So just go down here. And then you get these 2 guys here. And she wanted to fight instead of doing a double assassinate for some reason, but that's fine. I can just go through this door. Get my throwing knives. Go down here. Wait for that guy to leave She is down here. I need to get off the wall and not magnetize to it. Line up headshot. It did not line up the headshot, so I just spam throwing knives. This went really badly. I'm actually gonna restart this real quick because this went not the way I wanted to. She started running away and did not get the headshot that I wanted to. I should have probably taken myself out of sneak mode because I think what screwed me was that I was in sneak mode and Evie wanted to magnetize to the wall because of that. And magnetizing to the wall made her not aim the headshot correctly. Because she was out of line of sight. So I think that was my mistake there. I should not have been in sneak mode anymore. Which you can tell sneak mode by the fact that Evie has her hood on and she's crouching. Because you can't wear your hood in this game unless you're in sneak mode. Because this is a game of all time. I did not want to go up here again. Drop, please. That is the rope launcher being annoying. So we're going to go back up here. Climb up this corner. Smoke bomb these guys again. And then just run right past them. Because I don't want to kill them for the full sync. If this was Unity, I would have still been able to stealth kill that guy from the corner there. But they fixed that from Unity. In Unity, you can like chain cover kills like that even when you're detected. But Syndicate doesn't let you do that. So now I'm not going to be in stealth mode. And then line up headshot. There we go. There's the headshot I wanted. And we can actually skip this confession cutscene here. And that is Evie's main one target that she gets. This mission is one of the what they call black box missions, which they introduced in Unity, the game before this one, where they basically just say, go kill this target, and they drop you in an area, and then just let you kind of figure it out for yourself and just find your own opportunities. And then after Syndicate, they completely got rid of it because they transitioned to full RPG with like Origins and all that stuff. So now we don't even have black box assassinations anymore after like 2 games of having it. And then we're gonna just escape, drop down this way, and we're gonna go back to this boat that we came in on. And then we're gonna have to watch an unskippable cutscene, because after you do a main assassination in this game, you have to watch a cutscene of a British guy. So we're gonna have to watch a cutscene of a British guy. So I can't skip this. So this is vamping time, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about what we're doing here. This is the tail end of Power with Pride 2025 here on Twitch. We ran all weekend from Friday until about 45 minutes from now at the rate we're going. 16 hours total each day, roughly, in benefit of True Colors United. They're a great charity, ! Charity. You can learn all about them. If you have the means to donate, ! Donate. You can learn more about us down there. We have !socials to learn more about us as well. Follow all our socials. Keep track of what we're doing in the future. As far as what True Colors United does, they implement innovative solutions to youth homelessness that focus on the unique experiences of LGBTQ plus young people. Now, one of the things that they do that I'm really excited about right now is they're working at the federal, state, and local level to ensure vital funding, policies, systems, and protections are in place that meet the needs of LGBTQ plus and BIPOC youth experiencing or at risk of homelessness. We partner with young people and with national, state level, and local advocates in advancing policies that bring us closer to a future where housing justice is a reality for all. That is so important right now. There's so much going on in the world that is making that super important. And I am glad that there is an organization that is working specifically on that very important problem. Again, exclamation point donate and exclamation point charity to learn more about how you can support them or financially support them a little bit if you have the means to do so. And if you don't, that's okay. Just being here, spreading the word about the event, bumping up our viewer count on Twitch does more than you can imagine to help us out with our cause here. So thank you, each and every one of you, for being here tonight. We couldn't do what we do without each and every one of you.
Also, speaking of LGBTQ stuff, Syndicate was the first game in the series to like have a trans character in it. This is real lore. There is a trans character in this game. They're a trans masked character. I forget what their name is because I've haven't really played this game in a bit. And they're mostly involved in Jacob's side of the stuff. And since I mostly only play this game to do Evie's run, I don't really see them all that often. But there is a trans masked character in this game. That is real lore. Also, because of that, this you might have saw when we reloaded the game from the crash. They changed the the message that happens at the start of Assassin's Creed games, where they're like, this game was developed by like a multicultural team or whatever that message is. Because of the trans character in this game, Syndicate was the first game to include gender identities and sexual orientations in that list of things for like multicultural teams and whatever that they have at the start of the game when you load it up. Is Jacob also bi? I think so. People only say that he's bi because of the forced kiss with Roth when you kill him, which I don't think is enough evidence, but I think it was also like confirmed by his voice actor that he's bi or whatever. So I think Jacob also is bi, but there's like not really much mention of that in the game.
Did he like the kiss? Because I think that kind of like makes that relevant.
He mostly seemed disgusted by it, but I think it was also the fact that he got kissed by someone that he just killed.
Fair enough.
It was also like a kiss that he wasn't expecting and like was not consented to.
Yeah, those are also those are also important factors. I'll have to get on AO3 later and investigate this.
Yeah. There is probably a bit more to Jacob being bi, but I think that might be real. But like in terms of like evidence in game that Jacob is bisexual, there's like nothing besides that unconsensual kiss. It just like is a thing that I think people say that might or might not be confirmed.
Yeah, that sounds like comedy posting, to be polite about it.
This is also the point of the game where Jacob has dismantled the entire economy. So now the bank is not trustworthy anymore because the printing plates that create all of England's money have been stolen by criminals that are using them to make counterfeit money. But because they are the actual prints that make the real money, they're technically not counterfeit money. But they're being used by criminals. So Jacob has basically dismantled the entire society by dismantling the economy. This is just the actual game. This is just describing the game. This isn't like a joke or anything. This is just Syndicate as a game. Jacob has officially dismantled the entire economy of London. This is also a classic Assassin's Creed tailing mission. I don't know what these guys are yelling at, but they're supposed to be getting into a carriage and driving away. What is happening? What are you doing? Why did he die?
Probably because the stream is struggling again.
You want to reset it after this guy somehow died from magic?
This seems like as good a point as any to do another reset real quick. Bear with us, gang. We will be right back in another minute or so. All right, everyone. Third time is the charm? Question mark. Let's jump back into it.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened with the capture card or with the game because like these NPCs in this game were like really not behaving. There was something with like them like driving around and these guys were getting scared of it.
The counterfeiters.
And then he died for some reason, so I had to reset, and then the capture card decided to also reset. So we're doing a lot of resetting here, both in real life and both in the game. So this is a run of all time. I blame the UFO Cowboys.
I also blame the UFO Cowboys.
Hopefully these guys do what they're actually meant to do and get in the carriage so I can actually follow them to where they're meant to go. And I don't have random NPCs like trying to drive each other over.
Father was right. He acts in haste.
This is what is meant to
Tends
happen.
not at all.
They're supposed to get in this carriage and drive away. This is what I wanted. So we have a classic Assassin's Creed tailing mission here. At least in like the older games, like the Ezio games and all that stuff, you could kind of manipulate the AI in tailing missions, and like the farther away you stood from them, the less often they would stop and turn around to look at you. But I don't think that's how that works in Syndicate, and also because of these guys are in a carriage and not just walking on their feet, so they don't really turn around anyway. But at least in the older games, you can kind of stay farther away to manipulate the AI like that. Just a tip if people want to try to speed up Assassin's Creed tailing missions, and at least for the older games. Especially if you're playing AC4, which like is known for having way too many tailing missions. So we'll just follow this guy, and then go up here. If the replencher would like to go, there we go. And then I have to actually be careful about my parkour here, because I don't want to do... I want to get into a window, but I don't want to do an accidental leap of faith that would have to make me have to restart the checkpoint, because I don't want to have to deal with that. So I'm actually going to wait for this guy in here to go up these stairs. I don't know how he can see me there, but sure. But he's not automatically mad at me because I'm not in the restricted area, technically. So he saw me for a split second, but he doesn't care anymore. So I'm just gonna kill this person through the window. Go in the window. Kill this guy. And then burn this money for the full sink. And we have to go up or down these stairs. Kill this person. Bonk him in the head. Steal the printing plates back. Because Jacob broke the economy, so now we have to go fix the economy. Go right back outside this window. I went to the left there, and Evie decided to go right because this is a game of all time. Thank you. And then what I'm going to actually do here is, because that carriage from the tailing mission is still there, I'm going to rope launcher down here. I'm on a bad angle, I might still land on it. Yep. For whatever reason, carriages with flat tops like this in this game completely negate all fall damage. So no matter what height you fall from, if you land on the carriage with a flat top like this, you won't take any damage at all from fall damage. So if that was any higher than I was, I still would be safe if I landed on this carriage. Which I don't know why they decided to do that, but that's a cool trick you can do if you ever are in a situation like that. And then you let the civilians into the bank by just killing this guy. And mark all these guys. I don't care that that guy saw me. Knife. And then knife you if I can actually Get out of this guy's way. Put these printing plates back.
There. As if they were never taken.
And that is gonna fix the economy that Jacob broke.
If only it was that easy in real life.
And then for some reason this guy respawns. I don't know why this guy respawns, but he does, so that's a free kill again. And we're gonna go over here and we're gonna meet Frederick Eberlein, who is another historical character. He plays more of a role in the Jack the Ripper DLC, but he does exist in the base game too. So if you know anything about Jack the Ripper lore, you might know him. Can you pet the horse? No, there is no petting the horse. But there are petting animals in some of the other games. AC3 and AC4 and Rogue let you pet dogs and cats and turkeys. There's actually an Easter egg in AC3 where you can summon a turkey and put an assassin hood on it if you do the Konami code.
Shoutouts to Konami. I wouldn't know anything about that company.
I think they actually removed that in the remaster for some reason. I think that assassin turkey is only in the original version. Because I think I've tested it on the remaster and it doesn't work for some reason.
Well, if I had to guess, based on my time playing Rainbow Six Siege, it is because Ubisoft hates fun.
True. This is why I play only classic Assassin's Creed and not the new ones. Because if you know anything about Assassin's Creed parkour, they completely strip all the fun from the parkour out of Assassin's Creed parkour. They simplified it and dumbed it down to the point where it's only basically like one button now instead of like 4, and like made it so that you just climb everything like Spider-Man, and there's no. You just hold forward and hold the button down and you climb. That's all it is in the newer games now. They have to do patches and updates to fix the parkour, and it's still bad. If you can't tell, I prefer the classic games. Who could have thought?
I'm glad you clarified. I was having a hard time telling.
We gotta see Big Ben again. Also, this guy, he's involved in the game somehow. He's like an Indian lord or whatever, and he exists in the game. He doesn't really do much. He has his own DLC missions for some reason, and it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't add anything to the plot. And it's paid DLC, so you're just paying for nothing.
We're going.
This mission, I have to. I have someone with me named Henry. He has a ability to use a distraction, and for a full sync, I need to use that distraction twice. But I also hate using the distraction because it's like a big waste of time. But for full sync, I have to do it, so I'm just gonna deal with it. But I also have to talk to him first to unlock the ability to use his distraction.
What's the plan?
So I'm gonna distract here. He's gonna run down there. He's gonna throw a smoke bomb for me. But that's also gonna like alert everyone in the entire area, which is why I don't like using it. So I'm gonna wait for him to smoke bomb, and then I'm gonna drop down. The enemy ringing the bell is why I don't like using his distraction, because they immediately go to the bell to alert everyone when he uses his distraction. And the bell is alert other enemies. So it's very annoying, but I have to do it for the full sync, so I'm gonna do it.
That's not them.
And then just destroy that, go back up here. And mark all of these people. Distract those guys, even though it's not really gonna do anything for me, but it is for full sync. And then Evie wants to raise her arm for no reason. Okay, bye, dude. He just wants to run right past me. And kill this guy, get this chest.
No.
And because I used Henry's distraction twice, I don't have to worry about using his distraction anymore. Parkour failed me there. So I got stuck on something I didn't want to be stuck on. Evie wants to keep raising her arm. I think she's doing that because of using Henry as a distraction. That's kind of like her calling animation. And because too many people saw me, I have to wait to be anonymous. Enemies also can climb in this game. They can kind of also climb in the older games, but this game they have like special hatches on rooftops they can use to like get to rooftops quicker. They're not really fully going to the rooftop, but I guess there's like a ledge there they can reach. I just have to kind of wait for them to fully lose sight of me. Because if I try to interact with this, it actually will let me.
Nothing here. Looks like I have to ask someone where the plans are.
Now I have to kill all these guys because that guy decided to come in here. There's a little bit of combat if you're waiting to see combat, but combat is slow, so I don't want to deal with it. And then we used this mechanic that we used once and like never again.
Taken who?
It didn't work because someone saw me, so I'm just gonna run over here and get someone
Plans you
else.
stole, where are they?
Yeah, I'm supposed to kidnap someone.
Mission.
Please. This mission is really not being nice to me right now.
No, it's really not.
I've never had this mission be this mean to me. I've had it be mean to me, but not like this. I'm gonna go get this guy.
Well, chat, give Pcol your energy so that this mission becomes uncursed.
This might be the most cursed run I've like ever had to do with this. So kidnap you finally.
Quiet.
So I just had to kidnap a guy just to learn where information was. He didn't give me any information because apparently the objective already did before I noticed. So I guess it did work the first time and I just didn't see. Good job, me. And you're supposed to investigate the places there, but you can just skip that and speak to the child. So Henry disappeared for some reason. So now we have to investigate where Henry disappeared to. This is another place where I haven't been worried about it crashing, because this, when I did this run on GDQ one time, like a few months ago, this is where it crashed for me. So this is another spot where I can be worried about it crashing. But because we got the crash out of the way earlier, I don't think it's gonna crash now.
Yeah, that's usually how it works. You crash the one time and it respects you.
And here you just have to follow the path. A long time ago, I did just have this path completely memorized, but that was like 10 years ago. So I'm just playing it safe and just using my ego vision to see the path. You can also just see the path in the ground without ego vision, but ego vision just helps highlight it better to see it easier.
And destruction of public property.
But if you do have it memorized, you can just go to where you need to go. So it's going to lead us here.
Found you.
This is going to make us investigate where Henry is by like talking to people, but he's always in the same spot every single time. So if you know where to go to find Henry, you can just go. And this one I actually do have memorized, unlike the path that I had to follow, so I'm just gonna go down there. Hits that kill this bald guy. And jump down this hole, because he's always down this hole. I'm gonna run through these sewers here. Jump on this guy's head. And again, we do have to kill enemies with hanging barrels because they want to reuse a full sync objective for some reason, but instead of 5, it's only 2. So there should be an enemy in here that walks underneath the barrel. So that got 1. There will be another opportunity to use barrels again later, so I'm not too worried about only getting 1 right now. So just kill these guys, and Henry is here in the sewers.
Henry.
Free Henry.
Evie, they sent
And
someone
then he's
over
gonna
to
help
the
us
bats.
escape.
Do you have them?
There's gonna be a lot of enemies that we have to fight to get out of here.
I'm fine.
Let's go.
These 2 guys here, I'm actually gonna let Henry do. I know he's always gonna throw a smoke bomb, so I'm not gonna even bother wasting one of my own smoke bombs.
Just concentrate on escaping,
I'm
please.
just gonna run up these stairs, and then up these stairs is gonna be more barrels I can use to kill someone. So there's a lot of enemies there. Get those barrels. And then it's gonna be 2 out of 2. And then we just have to fight the rest of these enemies to get out of here. And they're focused on Henry right now. They don't care that I exist. Now they care that I exist. So this is just like a pretty big gauntlet, but because I'm like super powered, super over leveled, they basically all just die in like 1 or 2 hits.
Gunman on the rooftop.
And there's 1 on the roof here. And then a few more down this way. Bonk that guy in the head. And there's some gang members here fighting. These guys are always here regardless of if you call any gang members. And bonk that guy. And now Henry is gonna run to where he needs to go for the end of this mission. So we're finally done with this extremely cursed mission once Henry runs through this tunnel here. And then we finally have 1 mission left.
Yay.
Almost done. I seen more UFO cowboy quotes in chat. I seen him looking at us with binoculars. He was just about 50 yards out past that cedar. I need to watch UFO Cowboys again, but I already watched it like a few weeks ago. But I should watch it again. But we're getting into our last mission here. I actually debated including this mission for a long time because it's not really that interesting of a mission. It's basically just an escort mission. But I decided to include it just because of it is an Evie solo mission, so I might as well just include it.
Well, it is the last mission, so we do have a little push challenge from our very own Corundrum Core. $10 donation. Hey y'all, let's make a last minute push to hit 7.5 thousand during the finale. True Colors United is such an amazing cause, and I'm so proud of all the hard work that's gone into this event. I am too. And we're pretty close. I think we can make $7,500 happen, chat. We're only $125 away. Let's see if we can finish that out and end the marathon on a high note.
Hopefully this mission is less cursed than the one I just went through. And we don't worry about this guy. Actually, we kind of do because he's involved in this mission, but it's just
Don't allow personal
dialogue
feelings to
stuff that
compromise the
I don't care
mission.
about. I don't care about the item from that kid because I don't need anything. So from this mission, we have to steal a royal carriage, because we have to pretend to like be a royal guard or whatever. But we also have to steal the carriage without even like entering the courtyard. I don't know how so many people are seeing me, but sure. But we have to do it without entering the courtyard. So the way that we're going to do that once I get rid of all these guys here, is we're just going to scare the horses. Once I get rid of all these guys. So I have smoke bombs here. There's like 3 horses in here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to smoke bomb. That is going to scare the horse and make it run into walls, and I have to hope that it's going to run out the doorway. Sometimes it just wants to do this, it just run into like every single possible object. But I have to hope that at least one runs out of the doorway that I want it to run out of. Maybe this one might, maybe the other one might, I'm not sure. Let's see what that one does. That one wants to ram into the wall face first. I'm gonna scare it again just to see what happens. Nope, it went past the doorway. They are kind of doing whatever they want right now. Please run straight, run straight. There we go. We got one out.
Let's go.
Now I have to chase it down. I need a better carriage than this, but this is the closest one, so I don't care. And it's stopped right here, maybe. Or it wants to keep going, but I might be able to catch up to it on foot. Get on this carriage. And now we have a health bar. We have to not have that health bar go below 50%. And because I scared it out of the area there and it ran into a bunch of walls, it's already pretty low. So I do have to kind of be a bit more careful with my driving for this mission. But it's still not too difficult. There are a lot of things in the road that are gonna be trying to block my path and make me lose a lot of my health, but I should hopefully be able to avoid most of it.
Where are we headed?
Belgrave Square.
But this mission is basically just like kind of like a victory lap for the run, I guess, because it's basically just an escort mission that just has people talking to each other with dialogue for like lore stuff. So it's kind of just like ending the mission on like ending the run on like a slow note, I guess. There's gonna be like a whole bunch of politicians, so we have to like deliver to specific locations.
Welcome, sir. Your Highness, what a surprise.
Still being a little bit risky with my driving, but it's not too bad.
Embracing the unexpected.
I'm actually driving on the left side of the road this time, like the game wants me to.
A matter of
Here, it wants me to drive all the way around this tunnel,
seize the
but if you just go through the tunnel, it leads you to the same spot,
but a rightful
and
transaction.
it's faster, so I just go straight through the tunnel
By robbing me of
instead of going all the way around.
trust, you and your son will enjoy the ball this evening.
He is newly returned from
This guy is mad at me for some
As
reason.
discussed, it is most disconcerting.
That proved quite valuable.
But because I'm on a carriage and they're on foot, they can't really catch up to me.
I noticed
I don't know why he was mad at me, but he was mad at me for some
He
reason.
has other things to attend to.
And then there's gonna be a fire here with a bunch of fire trucks.
Get along nicely.
That is a scripted thing that always happens in this mission, so I just have to kind of go for it like that and avoid it. This is also scripted, that guy's zooming around that corner.
It is.
That always happens.
From my father.
Just run or drive straight through
No, unfortunately.
portal here.
But Mr. Green spoke of him. He sounded like an extraordinary man.
And we're gonna go into this park to pick up our next
And
person
your
here.
mother as well, Cecily Fry. She and your father were partners, inseparable. The only duo that came close to challenging
Try to
Mr.
find an
Scarrow.
opening I can get
Very
into.
much in love, at least from the small amount I have been told.
Cecily.
Thankfully, entry points are like marked, so like once I see an entry point marker, I can kind of just go right
Your
for it.
intelligence, for one.
To Parliament, please, on the double.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes the characters you have to escort in this mission can kind of be broken and just like not get in the
Good day,
carriage,
sir.
and just like end up standing there for like a few seconds for no reason,
I
which
know
thankfully
how
hasn't
busy your
happened
days have been of late.
at all.
A few moments of your
So the
time
game
is
might
all I
be
require.
starting to be a little bit nicer to me towards the end here,
Continue.
but just gotta escort these last few guys.
Instead, she took my land. And now
The timer's a little bit more tight than on the other mission, but it's still not too bad. This is also a scripted thing. The police chasing that guy.
Handling come for God knows how long, and now you bite the hand that feeds you. Good day, sir.
May God bless you.
Look at him zooming away. That's all scripted. It's all meant to happen to like try to force you to run into things and make you lose your health.
Do you
But
miss
if you
it
know
here?
where it's coming from and when it's coming and know how to avoid it, you can just easily get out of its way. And then run straight through here. Getting pretty close to 50% health, so I might want to slow down a little bit. And I think this is the last guy.
Good day, Mr. Gladstone.
And there's another corner coming up here, which is when the game typically also crashes for me. So if we can get past this corner, we might be good. We made it past the corner. So I think we're good for crashes.
I am here to fight for them.
Why did you lose the blue gun? I shall tell you.
I'm still getting close to 50% health though, so I'm gonna try to be a little bit more safe.
Yes, the Sikhs deserve freedom. I hope with British help and progress, they shall achieve it.
Then why do they cry out for their king?
Avoid this fire here.
Britain has a duty to bring about peace,
Drive on the side of the road that doesn't have other traffic on it.
and I value your guidance and advice, along with that of
Avoid that guy zooming at me.
our burden to rule India, and certainly not the duty
That guy is standing on top of his carriage. Look at him go.
with your lobbying. I hope my advice has done some good.
Far more than your
And I think this
policies,
should be the
Master.
last guy I have to escort, so now all we have to do is just
I hope
return the
that you will make
carriage.
progress. My people are counting on
Take
you.
it back.
You gotta take it back, despite how destroyed it is. I'm sure they'll never notice.
Oh, absolutely not. It's just a scratch.
The horse is fine. The carriage is fine. No one will see. No one cares.
Slowly now.
Just sneak right by these people here. I do still have to worry about the health for this bit a little bit. Still gonna try to play it a little bit safe around these last few corners.
Calmly.
But we are also entering the restricted area again, so people are still gonna be mad at me.
A little the worse for
But
wear.
they're not gonna care how badly the carriage is destroyed. And because this is the end of the mission, the time is also gonna end soon once the mission complete screen pops up. Once I'm able to escape all these people. But because I have a rope launcher and they don't, it's pretty easy to escape and become anonymous. They're all scrambling. And then just go right across this gap here. And time is gonna be when the mission pop-up ends, or when the mission end pop-up screen thing happens, whatever it is. Whatever it's called. This thing, there it is. There's time, finally.
Yay!
Yippee.
We love to see it.
We managed to get through this curse of a run.
If I've known anything in the time that you and I have been friends, it is that something is going to curse your runs, and there's no getting around it.
Whether it's Capture Card or Syndicate just being a game of all time, it's always cursed.
Yeah, I think the first time we were supposed to work together on a showcase, you were having like weird Wi-Fi issues.
Yeah.
It was just like it's just one thing or another with you. It feels like. But anyways, Pcol, where can we find you?
You can find me, I guess, mostly on Blue Sky because I don't really stream all that much often. I do want to stream more than I do, which is like almost none. But I guess I'm on Twitch at Pcol6754. I don't really stream. I'm mostly just on Blue Sky. I just Pcol. I guess I'm also on Twitter, but I don't really use Twitter because of reasons. So I guess mostly Blue Skies you can find me on I just post about Xenoblade because I can't shut up about Xenoblade. We need more people to run Assassin's Creed. Please run Assassin's Creed so we can boot out the bad guy. And also, we need more console runners so we can try to get a PC console leaderboard split. Because we need at least like 3 active like console runners to like split the leaderboards because that's his arbitrary rule for splitting the board. So we need more console runners and we need more like just runners in general for Assassin's Creed. Someone join me in running Assassin's Creed. We need more runners of this.
All right, awesome. Well, that was a great finale run to end everything off on. Pcol, thank you again so much for being here with us tonight. We are going to take a very quick break while we set up for the final thoughts, celebration, yada, 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 from myself and the rest of the staff and team that are on hand. And then we are going to find somebody to pass the love on to for the rest of the evening. So sit tight. We'll be back with you all in just a couple minutes.